How can we test hypotheses about social media manipulation? Because on this channel, I make a lot of claims about the things that the algorithms are doing to us or might be doing to us. So the question is, can these hypotheses be tested? And the answer is sort of. The basic idea is that you start a brand new social media account. And we'll just say this is YouTube because I'm on YouTube and that's easy to think about. So you create a brand new account, the algorithms don't know anything about you. And with that, you look up two types of videos. You look up a cat video and you look up a political outrage video. That's it. And you watch both of those videos, choosing one that's of a similar length. That's all. The question is, does the algorithm favor one type of video over another? Like when you go back and you refresh your home screen, are there equal amounts of cat videos and political outrage videos when you return? Now, this isn't perfect, and I'm going to explain why in a second. But first, let me give you another way of testing these hypotheses. And this one I got from Jaron Lanier. I think it's a pretty good way of thinking about things, which is you create a new account, once again. You click on a video that's maybe kind of neutral-ish, and you just go to the next recommended video over and over and over, and you look for what direction is YouTube taking you. And after, say, 200 such videos, where do you end up? What type of content do you end up on? And of course, you would need to repeat this over and over to generate some data. And of course, I'm going to predict that you're going to end up at content that is threatening, that evokes certain emotions, and particularly emotions of fear and comfort. That's an overview. Now, let me talk a little bit more about the things I would like to test, how you might test them even if you aren't starting a new account in a very non-scientific way, and then I would like to talk about the problems with this method I've just described. So my arguments on this channel are that the algorithms are not simply showing us more of what we like. Rather, they're showing us content that leads us down rabbit holes that will make us more lucrative for them. And the economic idea is that most companies try to improve the quality of their product for their customer. We know on social media that we are not the customer, we are the product. So to improve the quality of the product to the advertisers, it needs to make us more influenceable, more insecure, so that the products they offer through advertising are more likely to be effective. And if you want to make every minute of our eyeballs a better product for their customers, the advertisers, you might want to put us in a state of threat, a state of insecurity, a state where we're agitated and likely to click on ads. And also a state of influenceability, a state of stupor where we're more likely to be influenced, where we're less likely to think critically about the messages coming in from the advertisers. So if the content which shows us the kinds of things we think about, the kinds of things we notice, which can slowly shift our worldview over time, if those algorithms have that end goal of making our eyeballs more saleable to advertisers, then do these algorithms favor certain types of content over others? That's the hypothesis. And it's a very simple hypothesis, which is really that the algorithms are trying to lead us down certain rabbit holes. Now, how might you test this if you don't want to start an entire new social media account, if you don't want to generate the data like I just described? Well, one way of testing this is notice which types of videos, when you click on one of those videos, they're all over your feed for the next couple of weeks. And what type of videos, when you click on one, do you not see another like it for a while? Like dinosaur videos. I like dinosaur videos, I love dinosaurs, but if you click on a dinosaur video and watch it for a long time, how many dinosaur videos do you get the next week? It's not that many. And you might say, well, maybe that's because there's not that much dinosaur content. However, if dinosaur videos were lucrative, the social media algorithms could incentivize the creation of more dinosaur content. What would happen is when people came on to talk about dinosaurs, to show pictures of dinosaurs, they would see huge boosts in their popularity that would lead them to create more dinosaur videos. These platforms have ways of incentivizing more content that's lucrative for them. Whereas if you click on a video that's kind of related to political outrage or weight loss or something that you can imagine is going to put someone in a state of anxiety, in a state of fight or flight, that's going to engage them more. One click on those videos is going to influence your feed for the next 2 weeks. So that's one way of just sort of testing on a personal level this little hypothesis. And then the other test is the exact test that Jaron Lanier recommends, which is to just click on a video, a random video, and follow the next suggestion 200 times. See where it leads you. Does it lead you to a good, wholesome place? Or does it lead you to type of content that agitate you, that upset you? Now, of course, if you don't start with a new account, then the algorithm probably already knows enough about you, enough about your insecurities, etc., to where that rabbit hole is already biased by things that will get at your buttons. And that's why a cleaner way of studying this would involve starting an entire new social media account every time you started a new rabbit hole. Now, what is the reason that this would not work perfectly? Well, I've given 2 different methods, and so let's think about these separately. The first method I gave was the content percentage method. And that's where you click on something and then you just look at what is the percentage of your content the next time you come on that's comprised of that type of content or is comprised of similar videos. The reason why this may not work perfectly is because the makeup of your feed is probably manipulative as a whole. For example, let's say the algorithm really wants to get you to watch this video on all meat diets, right? One strategy it might take is to show you a ton of really boring content. And the only content that has a little bit of interest is that meat diet content. In which case, most of your feed is actually not intended for you to click on. It's intended to sort of point you toward the video it wants you to watch. And if the algorithm has figured out that Saturday mornings, you just want to zone out and watch content for a long time without really thinking, that might be a good time for it to show you a lot of boring content, along with a type of content that it would like you to watch. So that's why the percent of your news feed that's related to the kinds of content it wants you to watch may not be fully accurate. Now, what about the up next video method? Why might that not perfectly capture what I'm trying to capture? Well, that's going to be for similar reasons. For example, I've kind of made the case that I think the algorithms benefit from having us in this back and forth threat versus comfort, threat versus hypnotizability or stupor sort of way of interacting with platform, where sometimes we go on there and we're agitated, other times we go on there and we're just zoned out and not thinking, and going back and forth between those is good. I suspect that the algorithms have figured out if they serve us too much threatening content over and over, that people are just going to go off platform. They're going to find a different place to spend their time. So it could be that the algorithms have figured out a balance where they need to give us 9 videos that are sort of just fun content for every 1 video that's in this threat stupor cycle. So it's possible that when you follow the up next method and go down these rabbit holes, the ratio is 9-1. But it could still be doing what I'm predicting these algorithms are doing. All right, so finally, am I open to being wrong on this channel? Of course I'm open to being wrong. If scientists could come along and conduct some of these experiments and some other similar experiments and show me that actually no, YouTube doesn't favor content that puts people in a state of threat, then I'm wrong. But I suspect that such experiments are going to validate a lot of what I'm saying on this channel. And this is the problem that our society really has to figure out if we don't want to be at each other's throats, if we don't want to be in a constant state of anxiety and distrust of each other and hatred and everything that's sort of on the rise right now. We need to figure this out. In my opinion, there should be whole departments in universities that are devoted to studying this thing. And I hope somebody who actually knows how to implement this kind of thing better than I do goes out and tries this, because honestly, I'm curious.